also building toward the game after that. And it's the one you keep asking about.
We've all had a game we just couldn't wait to get our hands on. Every person will at some point experience how it can feel when you see your most anticipated release of the year gets delayed for the umpteenth time, as well as all the other emotions that come with long waits. There's excitement, disappointment, suspense, hype, and so many other words to describe the variety of feelings that come with the ups and downs of waiting. All of which hopefully culminates in something that's worth the wait, or you get something like Duke Nukem Forever.
What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
These things take an amount of work that is almost beyond comprehension. Even the people working on them don't see the massive amounts that every single other person is putting forward. I mean, just think of all the names that are in the credits of some of these titles. Games take time, good or bad, and sometimes that next title in your favorite series feels like it's never going to come out. We're talking the Metroid Prime 4s, Hollow Knight Silksongs, Grand Theft Auto 6s, Baldur's Gate 3s, and even Psychonauts 2s of the world, for some of you into the more niche stuff. These are all sequels though, and that makes sense. It's easy to get excited when hearing you'll be getting more of an established fan favorite. But now that my previous most awaited title, Silksong, is out, I find the game I'm most excited for is one that's completely new. This game is what we'll be talking about today. This is Crowsworn. The developer Mongoose Rodeo opened a Kickstarter page for this game on July 10th, 2021, and it closed merely 30 days later on August 9th. In that time, it raised an astonishing $1,258,068 Canadian dollars, donated by 19,695 backers. All of this being done with a goal of a mere $125,000 to get the game off the ground. Let's talk quick about what incentivized people to go so in on this project. Of the many individuals that supported this game, I'm proud to say that I'm one among them. I personally pledged this project during its opening period at a tier called the Magpie for $125. This particular tier caught my eye because it was the first that had the physical copy of the art/lore book. And of course, as an artist myself, I adore getting insight into others' creativity. The Magpie also included rewards from the lower tiers, as is a common trend with Kickstarter. These rewards were a digital soundtrack, digital art book, digital copy of the game, digital wallpaper, and access to early beta builds. The tiers continue beyond the Magpie though, and each one offers a new exclusive item. The backers who pledged at the Hooded Crow tier for $200 would receive a physical copy of the game with a Kickstarter exclusive steel case. The Grackle at $275 offered a plush toy of the main protagonist. The Jackdaw at $320, an exclusive t-shirt. Then there's the big ones, getting to put a piece of yourself in the game. At $650, the Vulture, a tier that offers having your name added to the game on a sarcophagus in a location called the Ancient Catacombs. $700, Nevermore, write a poem for the Ruined Library. The Starling, $825, design your very own custom statue model for the Giant's Graveyard. For $1,000 of your hard-earned money, the Mage's Familiar, getting to design an ability for the protagonist. The Rook at $1750, design your own NPC with their very own questline. The Corvian for $2250, designing a mini-boss along with the team. And the biggest kicker of any, the one to rule them all, the Corvus for $5,500, the opportunity to design your very own boss. Oh, to have not been a young adult struggling through COVID times. That's just the incentives for individual tiers though. None of those matter if the vision isn't good. You wouldn't give that kind of money to get your own piece in just any game. The creators' transparency and passion was clearly enough to inspire many, myself included. The trailer they had available on the page was fantastic, and definitely played a major hand in catapulting this idea into relevant territory. The art direction was incredible and leaves a lasting impression. Between the gameplay itself and incredible animated cutscenes, the art style is just so appealing, and the character design has the potential to become so iconic. Additionally, the design for the engines and levels of their game was inspired by some all-time greats in the form of Hollow Knight, Donkey Kong Country, Bloodborne, and Devil May Cry. I'm sure there's many others as well that the team just hasn't mentioned by name. It all really shows through in the gameplay they've shared. The platforming looks tight and precise, the combat is very action-oriented and high-octane, and of course just looking at the art shows how much it takes inspiration from Bloodborne's gothic nature. This game being a Metroidvania along with all these other details, it's no wonder I was hooked without a second thought. Some may worry it'll be too derivative because the inspirations are very clear, but no idea is 100% original. The developers haven't tried to hide where their ideas come from, and additionally, it's clear how hard they're working. So I'm certain everything will be unique and interesting regardless. The inspirations may already have been done, but it's about how the developers combine these details to make something that stands on its own 2 feet. From what I've seen, they've delivered on that. Now that I've hopefully gotten you sufficiently excited for a little taste, if you weren't before, this is the part where I get to tell you that on release of the backer demos, the devs made it clear that it was perfectly okay to share the footage. So buckle in and let's take a small glimpse into a world awaiting. First up is the boss demo from July of 2022. The Crowtagonist, as he's called, starts with a pre-decided set of abilities and upgrades. This includes 7 HP, a scythe as your primary melee, a dash, an air dash, a gun with 6 bullets and 2 reloads at max with the reloads refreshing over time and the guns taking a short animation to reload, a malice meter which allows the use of Corvian powers which are basically spells. Powers are a laser and an air dive with a ton of iframes. Each power costs about a third of the meter and the meter can be restored by attacking an enemy. And lastly, 2 uses of a heal that heals for 3 HP and refreshes by hitting any set of enemies 16 times. Okay, you got all that? Good, because it's time to move on to the boss. So in terms of appearance, the boss is busy yet simple at the same time. He's slightly taller than the Crowtagonist, and in terms of clothing, he's clad in bandages, with a red hood covering his head, showing only a single glowing eye. And he has knee pads, as a fashion statement. It's the only armor this guy's got. Surely the knees aren't the spot to... We're hitting this guy in the knees, he's a genius. Oh, also, he's got a shield and a spear. Let's give a quick rundown of his attacks. He's got a spear charge, a jump into ground pound that sends shockwaves, a flurry followed by a charge, a double slash followed by a spin into a jump and ground pound, a move where he jumps off screen and spawns some a series of spikes from the ground and spears from the sky, which is I can't avoid this attack for the life of me. When he's done, his primary spear hits the ground to show where he'll land before he does another ground pound. The shield does actually function as well, blocking attacks during certain animations. The combination of the player and boss's designs makes for a very fast-paced and fun battle. Although my successful run only lasted a little over a minute, it was still very fun. Once the boss is defeated, there's a short animation that plays as an indicator, followed by the on-screen text, "Filth Vanquished." Far out. Did I just say far out? What is that, from like the 60s? Believe it or not, I was not alive then. Screw it. We're doing far out now, we're making this a thing. Time for the real meat and potatoes. The Next backer demo released in August of 2023 and is more built on providing a heavily accelerated example of what it will actually feel like to progress in the game. It opens up with one of the awesome animated cutscenes before pushing you directly into gameplay. The area seems to be some sort of abandoned mine, with clear evidence of constructed tunnels. Of course, as with any Metroidvania, you start with as little as possible. Just the clothes on your back, not even a weapon. This lasts for absolutely 0 time before the scythe is picked up, which allows for doors to be broken down. No more trying to fist them. Now that objects can be broken, smashing red crystals allows for a quick introduction to the currency of the game, which are called animus shards. They're collected from overworld spawns such as this one, breaking background objects and killing enemies. Speaking of enemies, the ones in this first area are very simple in design, with the most effort in fighting them simply being rolling behind to evade their shield. It doesn't take much travel before the first NPC is introduced. The Keeper is a mysterious figure that describes itself as the custodian of souls and acts as the game's save points. This particular save point is here because a mini-boss is in the very next room. The design is fairly tame. A very bulky creature wearing rags with a hooked nose and stumpy wings. It carries a sword and shield. The attacks are also fairly simple overall. Some jumps, a slash combo, and a charge that causes rocks to fall from the ceiling. Defeating this mini-boss rewards the Iron Talons, which function as your wall jump. Access to this ability allows progression to the next area called the Thorn Capital. As you might expect, the area is castle-like with thorns strewn about. The enemies seem to be similar in design to the boss from the previous demo, perhaps suggesting these guys are some sort of guards in spite of their roguish appearance. The enemies' movesets are pretty basic, but they are noticeably faster than those of the previous area. One with a spear really escalates the difficulty compared to others, being almost like a mini variation of the demo boss. The item pickup in this area introduces the grafting mechanic. Grafts are upgrades to your character. Between the name and the fact that they're literal body parts, the only implication is that your character is swapping his body parts for them. Ew, but also that's so metal. This area is left pretty quickly for the Grey Mausoleum. You take an elevator down and the area is full of candles used to light the way. The enemies are weird big nose guys that resemble the mini-boss from earlier. A little bit of travel leads to an area where the walls are constructed entirely from skulls. First of all, not very structurally sound. Second, why are there so many? Where's the rest of the skeletons, and why do tentacles sprout from them to attack me? I also definitely, totally, very intentionally decide to die here to show you that you lose a small amount of animus shards whenever you meet your untimely doom. I definitely didn't do it on accident like a dumb idiot that's bad at video games. Traveling deeper shows some ominous giant skeletons embedded in the walls and brings us to the major upgrade of the area, which is the Dive Corvian power from the boss demo, introducing another use. In this demo, it's not only an attack but a travel tool, allowing you to descend wind currents that would otherwise carry you up. With this, it's possible to head straight for this demo's boss. The boss design is... gross, it's gross. It's just some weird mess of arms and heads in one grotesque package covered by a rag. Just as before, we'll go over the attacks. First is a spin move that it totally cheated with by starting the fight by doing instantly. Then there's an attack that spawns a series of flying enemies that are equally disturbing, if not more so. It can also smack the ground over and over again to make a bunch of rocks fly everywhere. Lastly is a repeated jump slam that causes rocks to fly all around. It's all designed to make a very bullet hell-esque experience, although still not as bad as the spear thing. I cannot stop getting hit by that. I see you in my nightmares. To be honest, I remember this fight being a lot harder when the demo first came out, but I beat it first try this time around. That's right, I was correct when I said I'm not bad at video games. That completes this demo though, aside from optional stuff strewn about to add some fluff. So that's Crowsworn, or at least the closest thing we have to it. The developers make it very clear that this is just a taste, and the final product will be very different. When the Kickstarter was live, it was said the release was expected to be December 2023, and, well, regardless, the pieces we've gotten so far are incredibly promising, and if the updates are anything to go off of, this game is going to be absolutely massive. Every Kickstarter update from the dev team says there's been pretty much 0 stalls in development, just that the game is so incredibly huge that this is just the amount of time it's going to take. The most recent timeline they gave is about a year, but who knows what could happen. What I do know is this is a game to watch out for. And if you want to do that, the creators have a Twitter page, Never Calling It X You Can't Make Me, where they post tons of artwork. This game truly has the potential to enter greatest of all time territory. Hey, as usual, I hope the video was enjoyed and I greatly appreciate all the support. I wanted to do a little end snippet, as I have been, even though I don't really have anything to say. Just because I like how it feels a little more personal, which feels like a little bonus for those willing to stick around to the end. So thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next time.